Well, till now it looks like Netherlands is winning, but hey, America is the greatest country in the world, so what's happening, America? You gotta catch up, man. Gotta catch up. The next metric is access to money. The cost of education, cost of living, quality of education, job opportunities, quality of life, income potential, safety, global exposure, path to permanent residency, application process for universities, GDP per capita, visa process, the Global Innovation Index, language and accessibility, cultural aspect of moving to this country. What's up everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're a student who is not really sure where they want to study abroad, in this video, I want to really rate and score America versus the Netherlands. I have studied in the US for my bachelor's on a full scholarship, and I'm currently doing my master's at Harvard. And I have had a very close relationship with Europe and Netherlands in particular. Netherlands was actually one of the other places that I was thinking about doing my master's at. I was very close to going to the Netherlands, but then I got accepted to Harvard and I could not really reject that. So I have done very detailed research into both countries, and I would like to share some of my thoughts and opinions about both of these countries, which might help you make a decision for yourself. Let's start the show off. America versus the Netherlands. Number one, the cost of education. The cost of education in America is usually between $20,000 to $60,000 US per year. Versus in the Netherlands, it's around $8,000 to $20,000 US per year. So Netherlands is a little bit cheaper and Netherlands wins. 1 point for Netherlands. Next, cost of living. Both of them have significantly higher cost of living. Other countries in Europe have a little bit lower cost of living, but Netherlands is a little bit more developed country. So the cost of living for both America and Netherlands is between $800 to $1,500 per month. Both of them are pretty equal, so both of them get 1 point each. One for Netherlands and one for America. The next topic is quality of education. Well, I realize that quality of education is a very vague topic. There is not really like a number or an assessment that we can do to compare the quality of education in America versus the Netherlands. So for this bullet point, I'm actually going to go by my personal experience of talking to friends. I have talked to at least 3 friends that have studied in America and also in the Netherlands. Perhaps did a bachelor's in America and a master's in Netherlands, or the other way around. But they have experience in both of these places. And all 3 of them agreed that Netherlands had a better quality of education because at the end of their degrees, they thought that they learned more. Like they felt like they were a little bit more knowledgeable about whatever they were learning. So this point would certainly go to the Netherlands, but just know that it's only based on my and my friends' experiences and whatever I have heard from them. So 1 more point for Netherlands. Next bullet point is job opportunities. When it comes to job opportunities, I've talked to a bunch of people. I've also looked up different things in both countries, and I've kind of come to a consensus that some people complain about getting jobs, like not getting jobs, and other people get fantastic jobs in both of these countries. So I've kind of come to a consensus that in any country, what matters most is that you are in the top 30 to 40% of your class, of your major, whatever you're studying. If you're in the top 30% of your major in your university, most of the times you will have no problems finding a job. So for this point, there is not really like a specific winner, because in both of these countries, if you study well, if you're in the top 30% of your class, you will most probably have no problems finding a fantastic job, earning a very good salary, and living a very high quality of life in both of these places. So this point goes to both of them. 1 for Netherlands and 1 also for America. The next metric is quality of life. Now, quality of life is not similar to quality of education. Quality of life, actually, it's a much easier way to calculate qualities of life. And I looked up online, there is many different companies and stuff that evaluate the qualities of life in different countries. I decided to go with a company called Numbeo. Numbeo is very popular. They take into account the cost of living, purchasing power, housing affordability, pollution, crime rates, healthcare quality, traffic commutes, and a bunch of other things to calculate an overall quality of life for that country. And for the USA, Numbeo scored 188 points, and on Numbio, Netherlands scored 212 points. Now, that is a little bit of a significant difference, but certainly Netherlands wins when it comes to an overall quality of life. And one more point for Netherlands. And for this specific one, I personally have to agree with it. I've lived in America and I've traveled to Netherlands a bunch of times. Netherlands was one of those countries where I just walk around the street and I just realized the high quality of life. You know, the parks, the happiness levels, like everything is different. And it's just a feeling. Like you need to physically be there to really understand these feelings. These numbers don't really do the justice. But yeah, I think this point, Netherlands definitely deserves this point. Well, till now it looks like Netherlands is winning, but hey, America is the greatest country in the world, so what's happening, America? You gotta catch up, man, gotta catch up. Right now we have a very big one for income potential. Money, money, money. One of the biggest reasons why people want to study abroad and live a life abroad is because they want to make more money. And income potentials in both countries are very different, and there is definitely a very clear winner. In America, the average salary of an American, and right now I'm using average salaries, these don't really apply to what you're studying, like if you're doing a master's or bachelor's, average salaries will be very different. But at the moment, I'm just going to use the average salary of all over America, of an average American citizen, which is $63,795 is the average salary of an American. And average tax rates in America are 14.5%. Now, taxes are very important because at the end of the day, when you make money in any of these countries, what's more important is your disposable income. It's not the amount of money that you're making, but after taxes, how much money do you actually get in your bank account? For Netherlands, the average salary is $51,740 US. However, so it's about $12,000 less than America, but the average taxes in Netherlands are 27.3% tax, which is extremely huge. So this is a clear winner for America when it comes to income potential and how much money you can make. And certainly this might not come as a surprise to anyone. It is just, if your goal is to become a millionaire, America is going to be the easiest country to become a millionaire for you in the long term. Next, we're going to talk about safety. Well, safety is something that has come up very often recently, especially with all the news coming in and out of America. Unfortunately, most of these news are true. And if you really just Google up a few things about safety levels in America and Netherlands, you will see that Netherlands is a clear winner. There might be few small crimes like pickpocketing and stuff happening all over Europe, actually, not just Netherlands. Although I've lived in America for more than 5 years and I've been perfectly fine, but just that's what the numbers say, that Netherlands is the winner. So one more point for Netherlands. The next metric is going to be global exposure. This is extremely important because when you're going to study abroad, one of the things that you're also doing is building your global network. And being in a place which has more global people, more international people, makes it much easier for you to build this global network, which eventually has not only international friends, but also opportunities all over the world. And America is an absolute melting pot of diversity, having people from more than 180 countries. And it's just an absolute winner when it comes to global exposure. Ugh. My back hurts. Hopefully, if I was in the Netherlands, I might have had free healthcare. If I remember well, America has private health insurance and Netherlands also has private health insurance. The next bullet point is going to be the path to permanent residency. This is something that's very important for a lot of students when you are studying abroad because you want to live in that country. Well, most of us know that living in America is very uncertain. It's very difficult. It might take 5 to 7 years, or it might take 30 to 40 years if you're an Indian citizen or a Mexican citizen or something. So it's very difficult to become an American citizen or a green card holder nowadays. In Netherlands, the process is much faster, usually about 5 years, maybe 6 or 7 years if you have some problems. But if you live in the country for 5 years full time, you have a job there, you're almost guaranteed to get a Dutch passport. So definitely one more point for the Netherlands when it comes to the possibility of getting a permanent residency or a citizenship in that country after you graduate from your university. Next, when it comes to the application process for universities, I think both of the countries are pretty equal. They're very similar application processes. Neither one is very difficult or very easy. So I think both of them should get 1 point each for application processes for universities, whether it be for bachelor's or for master's, doesn't matter. But I think both of them get 1 point each. The next category is the visa process. Now, visa process is different than the application process to the universities. Visa processes have a little bit more documentation, interviews, and stuff like that. In America, visa process is just more difficult. You need to attend a physical interview at a US embassy in your home country to be able to get an American visa. In the Netherlands, it's a little bit more easier if you have all the documents in place. I would say that it's a little bit less challenging, perhaps. So this point probably goes to Netherlands. Wow, Netherlands has a lot. America hopefully catches up. The next category is GDP per capita. GDP per capita is a very important metric to really understand the income potential and everything of that country. And the GDP per capita of America is $82,700. And the GDP per capita of the Netherlands is $64,500. In this, America wins by quite a significant number. If this number was very equal, I would have given both a point. But since America is almost $20,000 more, it is a very significant number. Also considering the fact that America has a higher population. When a country has higher population, it's more difficult for that country to have a high GDP per capita. But this goes to America. And you might wonder, how does GDP per capita matter to you as an international student? But I'm not going to cover that in this video. Please Google and see why GDP per capita is important and why it might be a good metric for you to also evaluate. The next metric is actually the Global Innovation Index. This is very important for students who are going to study in the US or Netherlands, especially students who are interested in research or entrepreneurship, MBA students who might want to get a job, but at a startup, at something more exciting that's happening. And the Global Innovation Index is an actual number that is calculated. So I got these numbers from Google, and America has 62.4, it scored 62.4, and America is number 3 in the world when it comes to Global Innovation Index, only after Switzerland and Sweden. And Netherlands is almost number 10, scoring 58.8, which means that America is the winner when it comes to more innovation happening in this country. The next metric is access to money. When I say access to money, it can mean higher salaries, it can mean access to scholarships, it can mean access to venture capitalist funding to start a business. Just in general, how easy it is to access, let's say, $100,000. In America, $100,000 is not a big amount because the GDP of the country is almost $30 trillion. And the access to money is just very big, which also in turn increases your income potential if you're looking for all of that money, whether to increase your chances of running a successful business or also getting a higher salary. So when it comes to access to money, America is a little bit easier, especially for those entrepreneurs out there or even students who are looking for scholarships, when it comes to just money that you need and where you can get that money. America wins with this for this category. The next category is language and accessibility. Language in both countries, English is spoken fairly easily. America is just a huge country, which means that you can speak the same language across a very big landmass. You can travel around the country and still be okay speaking just English. In the Netherlands, it seems like, yes, it's part of Schengen, so you can travel around Europe. However, most of those travels are actually just for tourist purposes. When it comes to professional opportunities, you might be very limited because not a lot of other countries use English for jobs, perhaps. And even if you travel to, let's say, Italy, but if you only speak English, it's just very difficult for you. If you spend 2 years learning Dutch, but you move to Italy to get a job, which technically you can do according to the visa rules, but then you need to start learning Italian. So the 2 years that you spend learning Dutch might not be useful. Versus in America, if you lived and studied in New York, but you got a job in California, you would be perfectly fine, although you are studying halfway around the world. So this point for language and accessibility in the country goes to America. Just because the one language is okay to speak, you don't have to spend your time focusing on learning a new language, and that one country can get you a lot of opportunities all over the country. Versus in Netherlands, if you learn Dutch, you would be very limited just to that small country. The last category on this list is cultural aspect of moving to this country. I personally think that moving to America is a little bit easier because America is a country which was built on immigrants, and even now America has accepted immigrants from more than 190 countries, which means that when you move here, it's highly likely that you will be able to find your own community of people, and the similar cultural things, food, people, language, is just more easy to find it in a place like America because it's already such a very diverse place. In Netherlands, it's a little bit more difficult. With my friends that lived in the Netherlands, most of their experiences were that if they speak Dutch, it was easier to make Dutch friends. And when it comes to international people, there are certainly more international people there, but not as many as America. So it's just a little bit more difficult to make those international friends or even Dutch friends. So socially speaking and culturally speaking, it's easier to move and live in America when you come as a student, and perhaps even later when you live here full time. So one more point for America. So here we are at the end of my list of all the categories that I wanted to cover. I want to ask you which one do you think was more important for you? Is it more important for you to become a millionaire and go to America, or perhaps make a little bit less salary but live a high quality life in the Netherlands? Please let me know in the comment section down below, because all of you, as you comment in the comment section, you will be able to see what other people value more. Do people value money more or higher quality of life? I don't know. You have to tell me in the comment section down below. But at the moment, we need to do a little total. Netherlands is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And America is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, America is a winner, but barely by 1 point. And it's very close. It all really comes down to what you want and how you perceive your next few years in your educational journey and also your life. I am the founder of Scolaroid Education. If you need any help when it comes to figuring out which country to go to, which universities to go to, which programs to study at, there are millions of options all over the world when it comes to programs that you can study, and also tens of different countries that you can study at. So if you're interested in private counseling to help you make this very important decision of where to go study abroad and when to go and how to apply and how to get the best scholarship opportunities, please reach out to us at Scolaroid Education. We specialize in helping students get full scholarships for their study abroad journeys, and I'm hopeful that this video helped you kind of understand the differences between the Netherlands and Europe, and it probably plays a little bit of small role in making the decision of whether you should move to study abroad in America or Netherlands, or perhaps a completely different country. So I don't know. Let me know. Bye-bye.